Hello. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another episode. I guess I can call it an episode of Coffee Talk, where we learn natural English phrases through strangers' stories within the game. Hello there, Serbia, Insomniac, and Magdalena. Hope you're all doing well and you're ready for some more interesting stories from Mark Coffee Cafe. Without further ado, that is an expression we can use right before starting, which means we're not gonna wait anymore. We're gonna start now. So without further ado, let's continue where we last left off and press the continue button. The game's loading, and Georgie told us, okay then, see you later everyone. Let's see what happens next. Take care, Officer Georgie. Again, take care is a nice expression when bidding farewell to someone. You are showing that you care about that person and you wish them well. So take care, Officer Georgie. Let's move on. Just a second. All right. Continue later. You can see Freya didn't show as much care, so she just said later. That is a more impolite way of saying goodbye. And he's gone. Let's see who's coming in next. Or maybe that was the bell of him exiting. That's the more likely case. I think I need to go back to my writing. No offense, but I need to concentrate like crazy. You can see no offense. That is something you used to say in order not to offend the other person. So she doesn't want to offend me by leaving me alone, but she has to concentrate like crazy. She really needs to put a lot of focus on what she's doing, on her writing. You could also use no offense to perhaps state a controversial opinion, an opinion that might hurt the other person. So if your friend asks you about their new haircut, you could tell them, no offense, but I think long hair works better on you. That way you're saying, I have to be honest, this is my opinion, please don't be offended, don't take it to your heart. Let's continue. So I'll move to my usual corner. Good luck with the writing. All right. And don't forget to keep yourself hydrated. Yes, it's very important, especially now in the summer months. Do you guys keep track of how much water you drink? Today I had a class with a student and his sort of reminder went off, which meant he had to drink water in order not to get dehydrated. I've never used such apps, but they might be useful. So have you ever used them, and do you generally pay attention to it, or do you just drink water when you feel thirsty? What's your approach? Hi Freya, hi Marco. Yes, hello Sarah. Welcome to the cafe. How was your day today? Here, take this glass of water. You can see glass of water, not just water. So we are specifying what the container is. Oh, you're just the best, Mark Coffee. Am I not? Am I not, guys? You're welcome. The most usual way to express or to respond, not express gratitude, but to respond to someone expressing their gratitude towards you. Okay, off to the world of imagination I go. Imagination is obviously that world in our mind, that creativity that we have that allows us to think of new stories, new plans. There are simply endless possibilities. That is imagination. Unreal only exists in our mind, but it is incredibly powerful. Off to the world, off to somewhere is again a nice expression to use When you want to say you are going somewhere in a more excited way, you could say off to Serbia, off to Belgrade, off to Mexico City we go. So you are starting the trip and you're going to Rome. You could tell all the passengers, off to Rome we go. And you start the engine, press the gas pedal, and you're on your way. Go on. So continue. You could also use go on during a conversation if you want to tell the person that they should tell you more. Okay, go on, tell me more. And she's gone. Will anybody come? No, that was everything for that episode. Or maybe not. I don't know how much time has passed. That should do for the experiment. That should do. If you say that something should do, it means it should be enough. It should be good enough, or the amount should be sufficient. I don't know what experiment we're talking about. Ah, someone is coming. Thank God, I'm not gonna be alone. Who is it? Alright, 2 new people. Oh, welcome, Mr. Gala. I guess this is Mr. Gala. Hi, Markafi. Can we sit here? Sure thing, sir. Obviously, since I know his name, he's a regular. Remember, a regular is a person who regularly attends an event or comes to a place. He's got some, I don't know if these are some patches, some plasters on his hands and arms. Also some on his face. He seems like he's been through a lot. He's been in some fights. And there's this stranger, this lady whose name I don't know. She's just silent. This is the place you recommended. I don't think she likes it. You don't like it? We can tell she doesn't. I believe she is rude and Mr. Gala has no business being with her. I think Gala should probably break up with her if they are together, or just not even start a relationship if it's their date. It's fine. It's obviously not fine. I know it's not like the coffee shops you're used to in LA. You are used to. Remember, we spoke about to be used to. It means you are accustomed to something. It is part of your routine, your habits. LA stands for Los Angeles, as you probably know. But Gala, or Gala, it's Gala, sounds more American. Gala, it's fine. Yeah, it's awkward. This is the sound you make when something is awkward, when it's uncomfortable. Sorry to interrupt. So yeah, that's why I felt awkward. They were having a conversation and I have to interrupt them. I have to stop their conversation in order to say something. So when you are interrupting, you could say, excuse me, pardon, or sorry to interrupt. It's a good expression. Do you want to order anything? Right? Like, why are you here? Are you here to have a podcast or actually drink something? Yes. What do you want to drink? He's asking the stranger. You first. This is me. Do you guys order first when you are at a restaurant or a cafe? When you are with someone in a group, at least another person? Are you the first one to order, or do you leave it to the other person? For the most part, I prefer the other person ordering first. And then after they order, I can just say, give me the same thing. That way you don't have to think about all the options. Obviously, that only applies if it's a new place and maybe a place where I'm not familiar with what's being offered. Like if I'm at a pizza place, I know I want the spiciest pizza out there, so I'll just ask for recommendations. But when we are at a coffee shop, I have no clue. I know nothing about coffee, so I'll just let the other person order first, and then most likely order the same thing as them. Okay. Anything with coffee and ginger, please. Wow. So ginger and coffee. I don't know about that combination. Is it even a thing? Do people combine the two? But I have to remember, so ginger and coffee. Yesterday, I served the officer who was lactose intolerant or dairy intolerant of some sorts. I served him coffee with milk. So I have to pay closer attention now. Coffee and ginger. Okay. Coffee. Should I do like double coffee and then ginger, or one I don't know, spoon, one serving of coffee and then double ginger? Oh, I think that would be too bitter. No. Coffee, ginger, right? Even then it is extremely bitter. So I don't know why they'd like to combine them. Where's Mr. Yala? Let's learn about him a bit more. He has a cat. Maybe this picture was taken in Istanbul, considering the number of stray cats in the picture. His birthday is September 13th. Remember, that is the American way of reading the dates. First the month and then the ordinal number, September 13th. The British way would be the 13th of September. So we need to use the definite article the, then the ordinal number, the preposition of, and then the name of the month. So as always, the American way is simpler and as such better. And then again, friends only, close friends only. He might be a bit introverted then. Oh, Bailey's, poor guy. I hope their story ends well. It's always nice to see you. Yes, it's a pleasure to have you here. Welcome. What's my favorite pizza? There is one called Diavolo, like Diablo, the devil. It has, most of the time it comes with some like spicy sausage, pepperoni on top, and some chili peppers. It is really spicy and delicious. So anything that's spicy works for me. You could give me some suggestions. As you're Italian, you definitely know what some of the good pizzas are. The other person orders first, and then I say the same, please. Of course. You just don't want that responsibility on your shoulders. You let them do it for you. Ginger and coffee only in a virtual world with virtual stomach. Yeah, right? I don't think that it's a good combination. I'll have to research after this lesson if ginger and coffee is even a real combination that people drink. Where's my brew pad? Is there any recipe with ginger and coffee? No. It's because nobody drinks that. So let's just serve it, I guess. Brew. Come on. Let's see what happens. Oh, I'm even slicing the ginger. Cool. Oh my god. Coffee and ginger. This doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. Your order is ready, sir. And thank you. He's not impressed, but it's fine. Maybe he wanted more ginger. What would you like to order? What about you? I said, what would you like to order? Is it good? I like it. Not sure if it'll be your liking or not. Be to your liking or not. So I'm not sure if you're going to like it or not. When something is to someone's liking, it means they enjoy it. Okay, I'll have whatever he's having. See, that's exactly what I would do. She just checked if it was all right for him. After he said yes, she was like, okay, just give me whatever. So she doesn't even know what it is. Whatever it is, she'll take it. And you can see they're using have in the progressive form. We are generally taught that stative verbs should not be used in the progressive form, but when you are consuming a product, especially a drink, you're gonna often hear the expression, oh, I'm having a coffee. I'm having a tea. So in this case, he's having some ginger coffee, and let's brew some for her too. Should I give her double ginger? Just to see what happens. Should I do it? Guys, what do you think? Should I serve the same thing I served Mr. what was his name? Gale? Or should I give her double ginger? Because she initially said she didn't like my place. And unfortunately, I still haven't forgotten that. I know it. I suggested margarita, a big classic. I mean, margarita is too generic. It is, that's pizza. That is the pizza that you get when you say, give me a pizza. It is obviously very popular, very iconic, but I am somebody who likes experimenting with flavors and something more exotic than just a simple margarita. That's why Diavolo is my cup of tea. Ginger or double ginger or single ginger? What are you guys saying? What should I do? I guess single ginger, right? I should be kind. I have a moral dilemma. Coffee and single ginger, right? Double ginger. Okay. I was about to be kind and give her a single ginger portion, but Magdalena suggested a double ginger serving, so let's see what happens. Brew it. And we're gonna serve it. Oh my god, what happens now? She might just call the inspection and have my place closed. I'm pretty sure this is not what he ordered. Oh no, she realized it. Oh, let me correct that. Never mind. I'm sorry for the mistake. Oh no. Anyway, how's the town treating you so far? He's immediately changing the topic. How did she realize it wasn't what he ordered? Like, she hadn't even tried his. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Same old. I was surprised seeing so many changes after just a few years, though. So there were many changes in the town. I guess she is originally from around here, but has moved away. Yeah, things changed a lot in just 20 years. As they tend to. I mean, 20 years is not a short period. Even this coffee shop, I believe this was bar back then. A bar back then. So it was a bar with more alcoholic drinks and maybe some live music, not just a simple coffee shop. When did you open this coffee shop? We opened around 6 years ago, mister. Is that a man? Oh my god, I've been referring to them as a woman all this time. Are they a mister? Hyde. My name is Hyde. That's Mr. Hyde. From what I've gathered, you're from LA, right? No, I'm still in shock. I'm in disbelief. This is a man. I am. I used to live here decades ago, though. So, decades and decades ago, Mr. Hyde was a local. Huh. What brings you back to Seattle? I'm here for work. I'll probably be here for a few weeks. He travels a lot. Incredible. Did you guys think this was a man or a woman? Please tell me. I really am curious to hear your thoughts. I see. You two have known each other a long time, I assume. So again, I am guessing that they have known each other for a long time. You could say that. Yeah, I think we met not so long after you got married, right? Oh, so they're just friends. It was around the 60s, I believe. So you're telling me this person is, what, 60 years old now? Or probably more. He got married in the 60s, so he was at least 20 at that time. But I am forgetting this is a virtual, imaginary world where this person is most likely a vampire or something. Wow, that was a long time ago. Not for our kind. And what is your kind? Wait, if I'm not mistaken, again, I'm being polite when guessing in order not to insult them. If I were in this position, I would have probably said, if I'm not mistaken, you're a woman. And then he would probably get quite offended. The peace treaty between werewolves and vampires. Aha, so I guess he is a werewolf. A werewolf is that mythological creature that turns from human into a wolf. Well, a werewolf, so a humanoid wolf when there is the full moon. And obviously we all know what vampires are. Did you know that the word vampire comes from the Serbian language? I believe you might have not known that. And the first ever recorded case of a vampire actually took place in Serbia. I could tell you more about that in the future if you'd like to know. Was signed in, so that treaty, the peace treaty is the document which marks the end of a conflict, the end of a war. And I'm saying that that treaty between vampires and werewolves was signed, so the signature was put on it in 1865. All right, so we're talking about a while ago. So when you guys said you met in the 60s, were you talking about the 1860s? They're looking at each other. No, we met in the 1960s. Okay, thank God. We're old by some races' standards. Okay, so by some races' standards, you can see here the possessive apostrophe comes after the S, and that means they are referring to the plural, the group. So race is a countable noun. You could have one race or two races. And when we are when we are saying that something belongs to a group of races, we will use the plural form and then put the apostrophe behind the final S. So there is a difference between parents and an apostrophe after the S, and parents with an apostrophe between the T and the S. Because parents refers to both parents, and parents with the apostrophe between the T and the S might refer to a single parent. So that is the difference. But not that old. Although it's still fair to say we haven't seen each other in a long time. Yes, fair to say, a nice phrase to use when you want to say that something is realistic, that it makes sense. It's fair to say this stream is useful. I'd say so. Really? What do you mean, Sarah? I can't tell what you were referring to. Please remind me. I guess 20 years is a long time. It is. It is. This was the place, wasn't it, where we first met? Yeah, when it was a bar. They moved? Bankrupt. So they lost all their money, they couldn't pay their bills, and they had to close. Ah, such a pity. I don't know if you guys know what a pity is. It is a phrase used to say that it's a shame. We could say, oh, such a shame. It is really sad. So when you take pity on someone, it means you feel bad for their situation. If you see a beggar, remember a beggar is the person in the street asking for money. If you see a beggar, you could say, oh, it's such a pity they are on the street. They have nowhere to go. So in this case, Hyde is saying, it's a shame that they went bankrupt. I think this is really good. Yeah. It's very authentic. Serbian vampires. Yes, absolutely. The word vampire comes from the Serbian language, and the first vampires were found in Serbia. Now, obviously, there is a more logical explanation, a more scientifically backed explanation to the phenomenon rather than a real vampire, but back then people believed it was a vampire, and that story traveled around the continent, eventually made it to England, where Bram Stoker heard about it and wrote a famous novel about Count Dracula from Transylvania. The rest is history, as they say. You're happy the bar closed down? What's with the smile, if you don't mind? Again, I'm being polite, not to intrude. I'm saying, if you don't mind, if it's not a problem, please tell me, why are you smiling? Nothing. I was just wondering. So they are wondering, they want to know something. Will history repeat itself? Oh, so they are suggesting that my coffee shop might go bankrupt and close down. No, that's not gonna happen, obviously. I'm silent. I certainly hope not. We all hope it doesn't close. I've been coming to your place since the first week you opened, and that was 6 years ago, so Gala is a loyal customer. You've got something special here. Yeah, of course, my ginger coffee. Nobody else has got it. It won't close down anytime soon. I really hope so. Knock on wood. Thank you for these daily streams. You're welcome. Thank you for stopping by and being active in the chat. It means the world to me. It really means a lot. Thank you, Mr. Gala. Speaking of, it's been quite a while since your last visit. So speaking of, this is a contracted expression. Speaking of his last visit, that's what I was actually trying to say, what this speaking of means. It's been quite a while since your last visit. If you guys remember, we spoke about the meaning of while. It refers to an unspecified unspecified period of time that could range from a couple of minutes to a couple of years, depending on the context. And quite is an intensifier. So when we say quite a while, it actually means, again, a relatively long period of time, which we cannot specify as, again, quite a while. If you come and ask, how much will I have to wait for my coffee? And I say quite a while, I might mean an hour or two, which is a lot for a cup of coffee. But again, if I were to say you have to wait quite a while for your English progress, then it might mean a couple of months or even years. So it all depends on the context. Busy at work? So I'm using intonation to ask this question. Kinda, you can see, sort of. That's what he's saying. With the news about that newfound virus going viral. Yes, so actually the expression viral that we mostly use with social media posts nowadays, its origin comes from viruses. So when something is viral, it spreads easily, as most viruses do. Newfound means recently discovered. It's an adjective meaning that something has only recently become known. The hospital has been extremely crowded. Extremely crowded. There are many people at the hospital. Is the virus that dangerous? No one is sure about that. So it is a new virus, just like COVID-19. Nobody knows what to expect. But most people who come in are just... it's gonna be something bad. If he had to lean on that just, he is not, he's hesitant about saying the rest. He doesn't want to continue. It must be something scary. I don't want to use this word. Something bad is coming. But they're just paranoid. Alright, I wasn't expecting that. Paranoid means you believe in something that isn't really there. You think that somebody's following you, but in reality there's nobody. That's what being paranoid means. You are worried about something that is likely not there. You're still doing the same job in the same hospital. What was it called? Remember, guys? What was it called? Not how was it called. What do you call this? Not how do you call this. It is a very common mistake most of us make. Keep this in mind. Admission officer. So he is the one who receives the patients. Admission is the act of receiving, accepting someone or something. So when you apply for university and you are able to join, you can say that you've been admitted. Or when somebody arrives at the hospital, they are admitted at the hospital. So he is the one responsible for admitting new patients. And yes, I'm still a hospital admission officer there. They should have given you a promotion for your loyalty and long service. Yes, a promotion, so a higher position with better pay most of the time. His loyalty, he has remained loyal and faithful to his company, his hospital, for a long time. They offered me a managerial position. Okay, so he could have become a manager. Why didn't he accept it? What do you think? Why would somebody refuse a managerial position? But I declined. So to refuse, reject, decline, they all mean the same thing. You are saying no. I prefer doing this. Okay. His preferences, admitting patients. Cool. Heh. To each their own. I love this expression. I've used it many times. To each their own is used when you want to politely disagree with someone and say that I don't agree with your opinion, with your preference, with your taste, but I don't want to argue about it. You have your own opinion, I have mine. To each their own. So each person gets whatever they like. We shouldn't argue about it. We should respect the differences and individual choices. Good job. You guys can probably use this expression when talking about my love for canned fish. You could say, I can't imagine eating canned fish for breakfast, but to each their own. Anyway, I was wondering, Do they still sell legal blood at your hospital? Of course, the vampires will inquire, will ask about legal blood. They do. Although people don't need to visit the hospital directly anymore. So do they just deliver the blood through some courier services? They can just order through that blood marketplace app, right? I knew it. You just go on the app and you order, I don't know, 2 liters of fresh blood and somebody delivers it to your door. Are you talking about Bloodlast? It's a cool name. I like the name of that app. Uh-huh. Bloodlast get their supply from the hospital. They can't certify blood on their own. So to certify means that it's officially legal. It has gone through all the checkups, everything that's necessary to verify it is safe to use. Only hospitals and the Ministry of Health can do that. Obviously, hospitals, places where doctors work, and the Ministry of Health, part of the government, a government institution, which is primarily focused on the public health, making sure people stay healthy and all the food, medicine, everything related to health is tested and safe. They're just middlemen with a lot of sales promos. So a middleman is the plural form of the middleman, so it should be spelled with an A. And a middleman is a person who mediates, who connects two parties. So in this case, you have the hospital, which draws the blood and has a bank of it. And then you have a customer, a vampire most likely, or maybe a really strange human who wants to drink some blood, and this app connects them. So they are the middleman with a lot of sales promos. So there are many discounts, many offers that make it more attractive and encourage people to buy. What do we call the chairs in front of the bar? We could call them bar chairs, especially when they have these backrests. So these are some fancier bar chairs. However, for most of the time, your typical bar chairs won't have such a nice backrest, and so you would call them a bar stool. So that's a bar stool, the chair in front of the bar, a bar stool, S-T-O-O-L, stool. You use it often? Not really. I'm trying a new vegan lifestyle. Remember? Alright. So what does it mean when a vampire is vegan? Do they just drink animal blood like they do in Twilight? Have you guys seen the Twilight Saga? Most men hate on that series, but I honestly am a big fan. And it is in that series that you have werewolves, vampires, and many different supernatural creatures. But I do know the founder of that startup. We all know what a startup is, a new company that was recently founded. And to found something means to start it, to create it. So most of the time, people think that found is only the past tense of the verb to find. You know, I found a coin in my pocket, but found could also be the infinitive and a regular verb with founded as the past tense, meaning to start a company or even a country. You know, this king was the founder of France or something like that. So he knows the founder of the startup. He knows the person who started that company, who created that new company. Oh yeah, how's your vegan diet going? It's not easy, but nothing I can't conquer. To conquer, that is something from history. In wars, you would have two countries fighting, and then whichever country won would conquer at least part of the other country. So let's say there's a war between the United States and Canada, and if Canada manages to take New York from the United States, we could say Canadians conquered New York. In this case, it is more idiomatic, and it means it's not something that I can't overcome. It's not a challenge I can't take. I can handle it. I can hold it in my hands and conquer it. Excuse me for asking. I think I'm gonna ask about what a vampire vegan diet actually means. By going vegan, do you mean you don't drink blood anymore? Not real blood. Synthetic blood. Alright, that's cool. Synthetic means it is not natural, it is something manufactured in factories. So you'll have organic materials, and then you'll have synthetic leather, for example. So the real leather comes from animals, from animal skin. Synthetic leather will be made with different types of artificially made materials and try to imitate the texture and the look of the real leather. In this case, they're trying to do that with blood. Synthetic blood, I'm shocked. What is that? It would be too complicated to explain. But basically, some scientists are working to make some kind of blood that can satisfy my kind without relying on real blood. And I guess most of that blood comes from humans. So it would be good for us to have them switch over to synthetic blood. Considering real blood has some cultural and health concerns. I mean, this is literally how we talk about meat nowadays. So there are some cultural concerns. In this case, they are talking about the fact you would have to more or less kill a human to get their blood, and maybe health concerns in the sense that if they were to drink blood from an infected person, that infection could carry on to their bodies. Does it taste the same? So does it have the same taste, or does it taste the same? More or less, yeah. So when it's around something, then you can say more or less. If somebody asks you, oh, does it taste good? If you say more or less, that means, yeah, it's decent. Not perfect, but it isn't bad. Isn't it expensive? So Gala thinks that the price could be high. It is. I can afford it though. Of course, to afford something means to have enough money to buy it. So Mr. Hyde has enough money to pay for synthetic blood. But again, they're still working on it. So that it is still work in progress. They are still trying to improve it. Trying to make it more affordable for everyone. Alright, so they are trying to make it affordable. When something is affordable, it doesn't mean it is cheap, but it means overall people can afford it. Most people can have enough money for it. So something affordable is really different for different people. If something costs $100, it might still be too expensive for a portion of the population, but it might be something attainable, something that most people can pay for, and so most people would consider it affordable, even though it is not cheap. So that is the main difference. Cheap, really low price; affordable, something that people can pay for, and let's say the majority can agree that the price is reasonable and something they can actually like I said, pay for. Would synthetic blood taste good if mixed with other ingredients? Haha, so I want to make coffee with synthetic blood. Okay, things are getting strange in this coffee shop. Why? You want to start selling blood-based drinks? So again, when we have a hyphen and then based, whatever comes before based will be the foundation, the base of something that we are describing. So plant-based milk is milk that comes from plants, that's made with plants. It's not even real milk, but something that resembles the texture and the taste of real milk. It might attract new customers. Yeah, I could have more vampires, and then if they don't like my coffee, they can just drink my blood instead. It's a great idea. And turn off others. To turn somebody off could mean to reduce their excitement. It could have a more, well, sexual connotation, but in this context, to turn off simply means that you are sort of forcing them away from it. You are deterring them from coming. So if people were to see, we sell blood-based drinks, they might think we're barbaric, and they would say, okay, let's not go there. That is what turn off means. Fair point. Okay, so it's reasonable. I can't argue with that. Honestly, I don't know if mixing it would taste good. So he is thinking about it. I always want to say she. This haircut and even the way he dresses, it's all giving me feminine vibes. I hope I'm not the only one who feels like that. Honestly, I don't know if mixing it would taste good. Most vampires prefer drinking raw blood. Raw means something that is fresh, that hasn't been processed thermically or by adding other chemicals. So blood that has been freshly drawn from somebody's body. Although some do try experimenting with, so what do they mix raw blood with? Other things. Other things? Mostly booze. Okay, booze is another term for alcohol. So in case you didn't know, booze is alcoholic drinks. Remember that. Mostly booze. They are mixing blood with alcohol most of the time, which doesn't sound too bad. I could definitely see myself drinking that instead of blood-based coffee. But I know some mix it with not so legal substances. Okay, so somebody is mixing raw blood with some illegal, or if you want to be more, sensitive about it, say it in a more fun way, casual way, then you could say not so legal substances, like not so nice. You are negating it in a fun and playful way. Heh, you know a lot. He sure does. I work in a hospital, remember? Hey, talking about my vegan lifestyle reminded me to ask you something. About what? Your monthly furry. Your monthly furry? Your fury? I don't know. It's written with a capital F. Found a less painful method to restrain yourself. Okay, your monthly fury then. Okay, it's the monthly fury because to restrain means to control yourself. When there is a violent man in a coffee shop, the police have to come and restrain him, put him in handcuffs so he can no longer harm anyone and he can't just jump around and cause trouble. So to restrain is to put under control, most likely physically. Also, if you have some anger management issues, you need to learn how to restrain your anger, how to control it and limit it. So he experiences his monthly fury. Fury is some intense energy, intense emotion that you get, and as a werewolf, he experiences that monthly. And he is asking if this werewolf, Mr. Gale, has found a less painful method to restrain himself, to control himself while going through the fury, which explains why he has all these plasters on his arms. Not yet. But I do know that it's a drink. What kind of drink? A certain combination of ginger and caffeine. Oh, that explains it. So Sarah, you were right. It only exists in the virtual world, and it is for medical purposes. Is that why you ordered coffee with ginger? Yes, I'm exploring the possibilities. If I could cure this man's fury, I would be so glad about it. But this drink wasn't the one. Oh, unfortunately. I guess there's too much caffeine in coffee for it to be the remedy. The remedy is something that alleviates the symptoms, something that helps treat a condition. So if you have a sore throat, you might take some medicine to reduce the pain you're feeling in your throat. That is a remedy. Not the cure, not something that completely eliminates the disease, but something that helps control it and has a positive impact. Why don't you use the Fury sedative available on the market? So a sedative is something that makes you want to sleep, some medicine that has that sort of impact, that sort of effect on your body. And he is wondering if, why he isn't exploring that possibility. Why not buy the one that is available on the market that you can buy anywhere? I don't trust them. So Mr. Gale doesn't believe in the big pharma, and I must say I'm on the same page with him. I am skeptical as well. That's why I haven't vaccinated myself. Are you tired of streaming every day? Not really, no, I wouldn't say so. It is always nice knowing that there are people out there watching this, even if it's only 5 people or like now 10 people. It does mean a lot. Somebody decided to sit in front of a TV, a computer, or just look at their phone screen and watch me talking to some virtual characters in Coffee Talk instead of watching their favorite series or doom scrolling on Instagram. So I'm really grateful to all of you here, and I am definitely not tired. I do hope this community grows further in the future and we have more and more people joining the conversation in the chat. But back to Mr. Gala. Besides, so when you want to add more information, you could say besides, that sedative is too general. So he feels like the sedative is not, specific enough. It might not be efficient for his condition. Each of us has our own remedy that we need to find. So basically every werewolf has their special remedy, has their special medicine they need in order to feel better and avoid the fury. Each of us, so when you say each of us, you are emphasizing that it is every single member of the group. And sometimes the effectiveness can change as we grow older. Obviously, their bodies develop some resistance, and therefore the sedative is no longer as efficient. How effective will this drink be? Most likely not at all. enough to calm me down. Okay, so it does have a sedative effect to an extent. And that's all I need, to be honest. So this is everything this man needs. He doesn't need anything else. At least your calming method is only a drink. So at least you are expressing that something is just good enough. It's the bare minimum. So at least there is somebody watching this. At least I'm not alone. So it could be better, but this is the bare minimum that I have. In this case, okay, it helps just a tiny bit, a really small amount, but at least it's a nice coffee drink. It is not some sort of therapy you have to apply with a syringe and a needle. I heard some werewolves need to do what? Kinky stuff to soothe themselves during their fury. Oh my god. Huh. Kinky stuff means something that is a bit strange, unusual, something that might be embarrassing to share in front of others. And to soothe themselves, to soothe means to essentially calm down, to give yourself comfort. So some werewolves need to do some strange things in order to calm themselves down, to make themselves feel better during their fury. I'm not sure why they're using the capital F. Maybe because it refers, in this world, it refers to a very special concept. What kind of kinky? So what kind of unusual stuff are we talking about? In the real world, when we talk about kinks, it often has a sexual connotation, so I hope it's none of that in this case. Like, oh my god. Whew. How do I explain this? Like BDSM. I'm not sure what BDSM stands for exactly. Body something something M. I'll have to Google that for you guys. What does BDSM stand for? Do any of you know what it stands for? BDSM meaning. It's an abbreviation. Or more specifically, an acronym. So an acronym is when you only use the starting letters of a phrase to refer to it instead of using all the words. And it stands for BD is bondage and discipline, and S or D could also stand for dominance, and S is for submission. S could also stand for sadism, and then M is for masochism. I mean, guys, what are we talking about here? Oh my god. Bondage, discipline, dominance, submission, sadism, and masochism. I'm speechless. I hope this stream doesn't get taken down for explicit content. Oh my god. I'm afraid to continue. That only happens in corn. Nowadays on the internet, they will just censor this word and say corn instead of using it properly. So that's the rule I'm gonna apply here. That only happens in corn. Wait, what? It's famous among our kind. So in their kind, they like to do BDSM in corn. You don't have to feel ashamed if you like watching that kind of thing, you know. Obviously, we all have some kinks. There's no shame in watching werewolves soothe themselves. Hey, a friend told me about it. Well, he was pulling your leg. Remember I told you yesterday, to pull someone's leg means to joke with someone. It's to prank them. So whoever told him that was only kidding. It's not real. Damn. Yeah. You can use damn as an exclamation to say that you are surprised and maybe even disappointed in a way. Like you've learned something you weren't expecting. I mean, having X as a calming method is pretty common. I mean, yes, it's true. But normally we stick to vanilla stuff. Okay, vanilla stuff means the regular stuff. This is a bit controversial, but we are already well into the night, so we can talk about adult stuff. This stream isn't for any minors. It's not for anyone under the age of 18. So vanilla stuff means the regular stuff, the normal stuff that doesn't include any BDSM or any crazy kinks or activities. So that is, when we talk about vanilla, it means basic. Keep that in mind. Come to think of it, so when I think about it, it would be pretty brutal doing bondage stuff during the Fury. Okay, let's just continue. Exactly. So continuing with your story, yes, please, let's forget about this. How far along are you in finding the ingredients for the remedy? So how far along is used to ask about the progress. How far along in your English learning journey are you? So how much progress have you made? In this case, he is wondering about the development of the remedy, the treatment for the Fury. So far, all I know is it involves ginger. Enough. That's enough for now. And probably something lightly caffeinated. So caffeinated is when there is caffeine inside of it, especially when caffeine is artificially added. Like tea, maybe. Yeah, tea has some caffeine naturally, doesn't it? I think it does. You better write that down. So when you want to give advice to someone that they should do something, you could say, you better do it. You better write that down. You better watch every Marcolingo stream. It could even be a sort of playful command or threat. And it could be used for negation too. You better not write that down. You better not take pictures. Like, you shouldn't do it. If you do, things could go wrong. You won't want him wreaking havoc in the coffee shop. So to wreak havoc means to cause destruction. You are causing destruction in the coffee shop. He is a werewolf. So if he were to do it, he would destroy everything around this place during his fury. Remember this expression. Let me just confirm the pronunciation of the first one. I'm not sure if it's reek or wreck. How do we pronounce that? Let me check Cambridge page for it, not to give you any wrong information. And there are so many ads on Google. So not your, what the hell? Havoc. Havoc is good, but the first one, wreak. Yes, it's not a wreck. Wreck is something else. Wreak havoc. Wreak havoc in the coffee shop. So you don't want him to cause chaos to completely turn this place upside down. Wreak havoc. Remember that expression. Let's continue to the next one. We don't have any tea today. Great. So he's actually gonna wreak havoc on this shop. Great, guys. We first talk about corn and BDSM, and now this werewolf is gonna destroy my coffee shop. What a day to be alive. He's gonna wreak havoc on it. Remember the expression, repeat it, wreak havoc, wreak havoc. Just imagine a place completely destroyed after a hurricane. You can say that hurricane wreaked havoc on the city. But let's get back to the story. But the next time you're visiting, maybe I can try brewing the remedy for you. Okay, I'm being nice. I'll brew the remedy next time you're around. That would mean a lot. Gala appreciates it. Excuse me for a moment. So somebody's calling? Or maybe there's a text? Alright. I'm sorry, I have to go now. There's an emergency at the hospital. An emergency, something that has to be addressed, to be taken care of immediately. It's the usual state of things in hospitals. Most hospitals will have emergencies all the time. I think I'll go back now as well. And he hadn't even drunk his coffee. Great. We can share a cab. A cab is a more British term for a taxi. Alright. Thank you for the drink. I'll probably visit this coffee shop again before I go back. Thank you, Mr. Hyde. So I'll see you around. So see you around, it means I'll see you in this area sooner or later. Thank you for coming. Take care on your way home. And they're gone. They're gone. Freya, hey, are you done with your writing for tonight? Kinda. Sort of, not completely. Those two guys, yeah, I know. They were actually two guys. That's what I would say. If I were in the game and I were the barista, my first reaction would be, yes, they were actually guys, not a man and a woman. Can you believe that? That's crazy. But let's see what this Mark Coffee will say. Kind of reminds me of this video I saw online. I would prefer if you didn't start fantasizing. So to fantasize means you are daydreaming. You are talking about something that is unreal. I would prefer if you didn't. So I would prefer, I'm expressing that I would rather not have her fantasize in front of me. It's a video of a wolf pup playing with a baby tiger. Okay, so the child of a wolf is a pup, and then a baby tiger, or a tiger cub, a cub of a tiger. So cubs are the children of tigers, and pups are children of wolves. Let's move on. It's nice to see friendships that grow in unlikely circumstances. Yes, that's right. Unlikely, unexpected, something that usually doesn't happen. Circumstances are things that surround the situation. So many factors that create a certain scenario, a certain situation. So in their case, one of them is a vampire, the other one is a werewolf. They used to fight through many wars. It is not the best combination for a friendship, but even though it was unlikely, they still managed to become friends. Oh, that video. What? What video did you think I was talking about? You know, I must be talking about corn. I already know it. Oh, never mind. Yeah, when you want to change the topic, you don't want to dive into it, you want to forget about it, you just say, oh, never mind. Like, let's move on. Freya didn't like that. You. Awkward. I was just joking, alright? I was kidding. I'm a prankster. Please don't do jokes. You're really bad at it. Guys, are my jokes good or not? Let me know. I believe that I'm good at joking in the real life. Have I discovered a new drink? Yes. It's a Jahi Tubruk. Jahi Tubruk. Is that the correct pronunciation? I'll have to Google if that actually exists. Let me check for a moment. What's a Jahi Tubruk? Jahi Tubruk. Is it a real drink? It's a traditional Indonesian beverage made by combining coarse coffee grounds, crushed or sliced fresh ginger, and hot water, often sweetened with palm sugar. Crazy. It gets its name from the Javanese word tubruk, referring to the brewing style where water is poured directly over the ingredients without a filter. Amazing. So Sarah, this drink actually exists. It is not only in the video game. Real people drink coffee with ginger. Ginger presides over the ground coffee at the bottom of the cup, originally from Indonesia. Okay, we actually got a decent explanation here as well. So presides over means that it takes control. The president obviously presides over the country where he is in charge, and in this case, ginger floats at the top over the ground coffee, which is at the bottom of the cup. Anyway, it was a pretty interesting and productive night. It sure was. I can agree with that. Am I not funny? Is that what you're saying? Really, I'm not a funny guy. But now I need to get some sleep. Yes, please don't forget to get some rest. Coffee with ginger is common in some Asian countries. Do you like it? Have you ever tried it, Magdalena? I'm curious to know, because it really doesn't sound too good, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of it, frankly speaking. But maybe I'm not open-minded enough, and I should actually give it a chance. If you have tried it, please share your impressions with us. I think both Sarah and I are curious about it. Just a second. Okay. I'll see you again tomorrow, I assume. So now I'm the one making a prediction. Oh, don't you worry. I'll be here tomorrow. She's coming back. Night night. A playful way of saying good night. So when you, for example, when I end the stream tonight, I'm gonna say night night to you. Well, those of you who are in Europe, obviously. For Magdalena, it's gonna be have a nice day. Be careful on your way back. Is that the end of the night? Yes, that is the end of the night. And that could be the end of our stream. Let's just read this one. Marrakech. Fresh and healthy drink from Morocco. Have you ever had a Marrakech, Magdalena? As a globetrotter, you might have visited Morocco along your travels. The taste is a little bit strong, but it tastes good. Thank you for your efforts. You're most welcome, Yaza. Thank you for being with us. I'm not sure. I know what ginger tastes like, and I've had some of those, I don't know, mocktails, so cocktails without any alcohol, and I didn't particularly like the taste of ginger. So, especially with a warm beverage like coffee, I don't know if it would be enjoyable. Marrakech is delicious. Wow, you really know a lot about international coffees, Magdalena. I think Jada would be a great conversation partner for you, because I do not know anything about coffee. I just know that espresso exists, cappuccino exists, and the Turkish coffee. That's it. Thursday, September 24th, 2020. Is it the day after our last session? I don't know if all the stories take place in consecutive nights, in sequence, so night after night. I'll have to rewatch the previous streams. Let's see what's in the news. The Evening Whispers, free of charge. So when something is free of charge, it means you don't have to pay for it. If you want to be more formal. Obviously, they could just write free, but free of charge explicitly means that you don't have to pay anything. Despite losing a member, Super Smile's latest album sold 1 million copies. So despite is used to say or to introduce something that didn't affect the final result. So despite having only one person watching the stream, I still did it. So the fact that there was only one person watching didn't stop me from streaming. Or you could say, despite the rain, they still went outside for a picnic. So for the end of the stream, let's make a sentence with despite. Let's have an English challenge. Sarah, Yatza, Magdalena, everybody in the chat, please make a sentence with despite. Let's see if you can do it. So one more time, despite is used to introduce something that didn't affect the final result, but it could have. So the thing happened, but there was something that could have stopped it, maybe should have stopped it, but nevertheless, the result, the action occurred. In this case, the band lost a member, so obviously losing a member is bad for a band. However, despite it, they were able to sell 1 million copies, so they were able to achieve great results. I'm waiting for your answer, but until that, let's read the rest of the newspapers. Vlogging is now part of curriculum at some private high schools. That's definitely coming in real life too. I think that we're gonna see schools for bloggers, schools for influencers. That's coming up, absolutely. I might actually send my child to a school like that. Stop workplace racial profiling. The Orcish Workers Union demands. Obviously, as in the real life, sometimes when people see there are applicants from different races, they profile them, meaning they associate individuals with certain characteristics, such as maybe people from Montenegro, which is a country next to Serbia, being very lazy. So if I see there is an applicant from Montenegro, I might assume they're just lazy. Although that wouldn't be racial profiling, that would be an example of xenophobia, the hatred towards other nations. With racial profiling, again, you might see an Asian person and think they're really good at math. Even though that is a sort of positive stereotype, it still is a form of racial profiling. So in this imaginary universe, the orcs, which are some sort of creatures, I believe that they are elves who were turned evil. That's how orcs were created. They actually feel they're being discriminated against, and their union demands some changes. Despite the load work, I could watch the stream. Well, despite the workload, we could use the noun form, the workload. Despite the workload or the high load of work. If you want to use load as a noun, then you would have to say the load of work, but a more natural way would be despite the workload. Workload as a noun, one word, means the amount of work you have to do. Despite the tiredness, I joined to this stream. I joined, past tense, this stream without to. So we join something. But thank you for doing that, Magdalena and Sarah. You guys are the best. When I print a new batch of t-shirts, I'm gonna send them to Italy and Mexico. You'll have the latest Marcolingo t-shirts. It's a promise. Let me know if you would like to have some Marcolingo merchandise. Does it sound good? However, Jada said I should change the fit in the future, so maybe I'll have to make some adjustments. And we have a picture of protests taking place. There are some slogans. We still have brain, and a t-shirt with the peace symbol and the message make peace. my final question would be, have you ever participated in any protests? I know that the French people like to protest and riot in the streets. I don't know about the Italians and Mexicans. Do you guys do that? Have you ever taken place in any protests? I have. There were some protests against the COVID lockdown in 2020. I took part in those. And then again in 2021 or 2022, there were some protests for freelancers' rights. And I joined that as well. The first ones were quite successful. We were able to stop the government from locking us down once more. But the second protests I joined weren't as successful. And unfortunately, the government imposed some really heavy taxes on the freelancers. But it is what it is. That is life. Yes, so you like to rebel, Magdalena. What were the protests about? What was it for? Oh, no. Okay. I thought it was about the protest. I'm not sure. You were talking about the Marcolingo merchandise. Okay, I'll make sure I send that. But yeah, speaking of protests, you haven't taken part in any. All right. It's never too late. It's never too late. You might have that chance in the future. All right. Yes. I don't know if that's a yes to the protests or a yes to the merchandise. Either way, you're gonna get the t-shirt. Okay, let's just see who our guest is going to be for the next stream. It's a new person. They're wearing an NFL jersey. So this sports uniform is a jersey. And judging by their appearance, they belong to the Orcish race. So the race that just protested against discrimination. Do I have Hyde? Hyde is a supermodel. Mind you, this is a man, guys. It's not a woman. It's a man. Cool. And Lua. This is a succubus, right? She's a succubus. And there's something in French. Do you guys speak French? I'll try to pronounce it. Votre âme est une paysage. No, wait. That was awful. Let's try together one more time. Votre âme est un paysage choisi. Was it good? Votre âme est un passage choisi. Maybe like the OI is like O. It's like choisi. Votre âme est. No, it's not est, right? It's e. Ah, right, against the genocide that's taking place right now. That is good. I support that as well. Do you speak any French? If you do, please tell me how to pronounce this. I would like not to embarrass myself anymore in the future. I'm really curious. What does it actually mean? Let me translate it quickly. Translate. Where's... What language is that? French, right? French to English. So votre âme est un paysage, and then choisi. Ah, so your soul is a chosen passage. Okay. I was expecting something better, honestly, but it essentially means that your soul is your path. Your life path is your soul. So basically, who you are is the way you have to live. But she's a succubus. I remember the name of her race. And remember, they are some beautiful demons that seduce men. So that explains her profile picture looking like that. Georgie, I guess he's human, a police officer, and then of course Freya. She has a really nice short self-summary. Alright guys, that's everything for today. If you have any questions, please let me know in the chat. And if there are none, I'll be ending the stream. So I'm waiting for your questions. Oh, I shouldn't forget to save my progress. Save game, yes. Thankfully, I didn't make the mistake. I guess, yes, excellent class. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, Magdalena. I appreciate the feedback. I hope you were able to learn new things. Last time you said you learned the word pissed. Thankfully, nobody was pissed now. I was a bit pissed when they started talking about corn, BDSM, and all the explicit stuff. I felt like it was a bit out of place in a game like this. But that's part of the adult life, and it's good to expand your knowledge, your horizons, and learn new things. I guess something that we learned together today is how to pronounce the word wreak. So wreak havoc, not wreck, wreak havoc, and that means to destroy something, to cause chaos. When a hurricane hits a city, it wreaks havoc. And when a werewolf goes through a fury, well, he wreaks havoc on the coffee shop. So folks, thank you for joining. I wish you a great evening and a great day, great afternoon if you're in the Americas. See you tomorrow night. Bye bye.